Hey everybody, I'm Lisa and I'm with Luna Moth Creations and Tarot, and today I wanted to show you a new, well at least new to me, Major Arcana deck that I found on Etsy. It is by the Ghoulish Garb. I found them because I actually bought this shirt, so if you could see it, it has Bast as the strength card. And I inquired about, is this actually a deck? And the company said they are making a deck. It's slow going because they're self-published. So I'm super excited about this. This one's not out yet, but the one that they do have out is called Terror Tarot. I was a little disappointed that it's only the Major Arcana, but the more I looked at it online, I couldn't resist buying it because I thought the artwork was really cool and it was different enough that I thought I'm going to check it out. So I'm going to turn the camera around, and actually what I'm going to do is compare and contrast it with the symbolism of the Rider-Waite deck. I am a Rider-Waite-Smith girl. That was the first deck that I learned to read tarot on. I believe that the symbolism and just the artwork, it makes it really simple to learn and interpret without opening a book. You can look at the pictures and know exactly what's going on. So when I look for tarot decks, I'm more apt to go for like a Rider-Waite-Smith clone. And this one is, and I'm super excited about that. So I wanted to compare the symbolism in the two so you guys can see how closely related it is and how easy it is to pick up this deck and start reading. So, okay, I'm gonna turn the camera around and we'll look at the cards. Okay guys, so this is the box that the Terror Tarot comes in from the Ghoulish Garb. It is a nice size box, and if you've seen my previous video that I did an unboxing, you'll know that I'm really partial to magnetic closures, so I'm glad that this box has one of these. And inside it has this dreamy, beautiful moon. And obviously I love the moon, and I'm sure that y'all do too. And it comes with this guidebook, which is 82 pages. So at first I was like, cool, the book is pretty awesome. It's a good size, full color pictures. If I could find one, there's one. But as I started kind of laying the book flat, as you can see, the binding has come apart. So I'm bummed about that, but the pictures are like high gloss, and the wording that they've chosen in here is excellent. So I still like this book. I'm super bummed that the binding came apart. So there's that. And here are the cards. And again, the moon is actually the same as in the box. I'm gonna move the box out of the way. So I'm loving the back of this card. It's amazing. Okay, so I'm gonna start to compare and contrast these. Let me see if I can actually move in a little closer. Okay, and I will kind of bring these up. And I wrote myself like a ton of notes, so if I sound a little robotic, I'm very sorry. I just didn't want to forget anything, and there's so much symbolism in these cards that, again, I just didn't want to leave anything out. So here is the Fool card from the Terror Tarot, and then here's our Fool from the Radiant Rider-Waite deck, which was the first deck that I learned on. So let me kind of, hopefully you guys can zoom in or at least make your screen bigger if you guys need to. So from what I can see, this card is right on track with the visuals and the symbolism of the Rider-Waite Fool card. So both Fools are carrying their modest pack because they don't need a lot on their journey. They're both carrying their white flower, which symbolizes innocence and purity. They both have their white dog companions, which represents loyalty and protection. And if you could see in the distance on both cards, there are mountains, which represent the obstacles that he may face on his journey. So those completely are in line with each other. So this is our Magician card in the Terror Tarot. Love it. And then obviously our Rider-Waite-Smith. All right, so I think that they've perfectly depicted this as Dr. Frankenstein in this card. So he's using all of his tools to manipulate and manifest what he wishes to bring to life, which in this case is the monster. He's also standing in the typical posture of the magician, with his wand in hand to the heavens in the right hand, and the left hand outstretched to the earth. So both of them are in that same posture, which represents as above, so below. Also above both of their heads, if you can see, the electricity has made the infinity symbol, and we've got the infinity symbol in our Rider-Waite, which represents unlimited potential. Behind Frankenstein, he has the symbols of earth, air, fire, and water in the forms of pumpkin as earth, the bat as air, the candle as fire, and the goblet as water. And in our Rider-Waite, he has his pentacle, cup, sword, and wand, which represents earth, air, fire, water. So those two are way in line. All right, and then we go to our High Priestess. Here is the Terror Tarot High Priestess, which is Medusa. And here is our Radiant Rider-Waite. So, like I said, they have represented the High Priestess as Medusa, and she is sitting upon her stone throne, which is made of her fallen foes that she's turned to stone. The High Priestess also sits on a throne of stone. The High Priestess in the Rider-Waite-Smith is holding the Torah, and it's kind of hidden a bit behind her cloak, while Medusa is carrying, if you can see in her right hand, the blindfold of Themis, which is the goddess of justice. So both of these are representations of divine law and moving from the conscious mind to our subconscious mind. Both priestesses sit behind pillars, if you can see. The Rider-Waite-Smith priestess sits between the black and white pillars with the letters B and J inscribed on them, which stands for Boaz and Jachin, which mark the entrance to the sacred temple of Solomon. Now, the Medusa's pillars are inscribed with the first letters in the Greek spellings of Persephone and Hades. According to their guidebook, these represent unification and dualities, so feminine and masculine, darkness and light, and spiritual and material. The Rider-Waite-Smith has a crescent moon, if you can see right down by her feet, and Medusa's tail curves into a crescent moon, both symbolizing the cycles of the moon and the seasons. Now we move on to the Empress. Here is the Tarot Terror, and here is the Radiant Rider-Waite. So in the Terror Tarot, the Empress is represented as a beautiful vampiress. Both of the Empresses sit lounging comfortably on these lush seats, and both cards have the symbol of Venus. So the vampire is wearing it around her neck, and then in the Rider-Waite, it's down here on this heart. And this represents femininity and fertility. Both of them wear a crown of 12 stars, as you can see, and those symbolize our connectivity to the universe and the 12 astrological signs. Both of the Empresses are sitting in nature, which is also a symbol of fertility. The Empress is associated with abundance and harvest, so while the Rider-Waite Empress has wheat growing around her, the vampire has the remains of her recent harvest reaping in the form of her blood in her goblet. So both of them showing harvest. Now, while she holds her goblet and she holds her golden scepter, it represents their power over life. So our emperor in the Terror Tarot is none other than the King of Halloween, Dracula. And here's our Radiant Rider-Waite. So both emperors sit upon thrones with the heads of rams on the thrones, which is indicative of their association to the astrological sign Aries and the planet Mars. Both of the emperors hold items representative of life and their dominion over it. So the Dracula holds an orb-shaped glass filled with blood, while the Rider-Waite emperor holds an ankh, which is the symbol for life or the key of life. Our Dracula also wears a necklace with an ankh, which further symbolizes immortality. Both of them wear red, which symbolizes power and passion, and both sit in front of a mountain range, illustrating a strong foundation. In both cards, if you can see behind them, there is a little river that's running. And that symbolizes that the emperor does have an emotional side that he takes into account when he's making his informed decisions. So in our Rider-Waite, the emperor is depicted as an older wise man. And then the Dracula, of course, is an ageless man that's immortal. So both drawing upon their experiences for strong decision making. All right, we move to the Hierophant. The Terror Tarot Hierophant is represented by Cthulhu. And here is the Rider-Waite Hierophant. So both sit between pillars, much like their counterpart, the High Priestess. With the Rider-Waite, the pillars symbolize law and liberty and the obedience to rules. Both the Hierophants are sitting elevated above their followers, representing authority and superiority. Both of them wear a three-tiered crown. If you can look at Cthulhu's head here, there's 3 tiers, and then his also. And that represents the conscious, subconscious, and superconscious realms, of which they have dominion over. So our Rider-Waite-Smith Hierophant holds a triple cross, showing his religious position, although Cthulhu does not. Both have their right hands raised in blessings for their followers, and both have followers kneeling before them as they pass on their spiritual knowledge. The cross keys below the Rider-Waite-Smith Hierophant represents balance between the conscious and subconscious mind, while the book at the feet of Cthulhu is a book representing his ability to manipulate the human mind, which is the subconscious, and manifested through spoken word, the conscious. And the podium that the book sits upon balances the two. Next, we've got the Lovers from the Terror Tarot and the Rider-Waite-Smith Lovers. So these pretty much mirror each other. Both of them depict naked male and female. In the Rider-Waite, we have an angel that's above the male and female. And in the Terror Tarot, it is a fallen angel. So the angels in the sky are representative of the the element of air. And the Lover's card is associated with the sign Gemini, as represented by partnership of male and female, as well as making choices. So next to both of the women is the Tree of Life and the Serpent of Temptation, which represents choices. Both of the males in their trees have 12 flames, which represent the 12 signs of the zodiac, as well as representing passion. Both males are facing the females, overcome by their passion, representing the conscious mind, while the females face the angels, representing the subconscious minds and looking to the superconscious. Both cards also have a phallic symbol. In the Rider-Waite, it's represented by this mountain, and in the Terror Tarot by the erupting volcano. Next, we have the Chariot of the Terror Tarot, represented by the Mummy, and the Rider-Waite-Smith chariot. So again, I said this is depicted by the mummy. Both charioteers stand and are in charge of their destination and are ready for action and moving forward. Neither of the charioteers are holding reins, symbolizing that they do not need to use physical means, but their journey is sheer strength of will. Both of them wear crowns. The mummy has the headdress of a pharaoh, while the Rider-Waite wears a crown of laurels and stars. Both of those represent victory and success. The mummy is holding the Egyptian crook and flail, while the Rider-Waite is holding a wand. Both of those represent self-discipline, creativity, and will. Both of the chariots are pulled by the sphinxes. One black, one white, representing duality, male and female, positive and negative, conscious and subconscious. The gavel on the chariot of the Rider-Waite-Smith represents the Masonic symbol for self-control. On the Tarot's cart, Isis is on the front of the cart, which represents magical power and cleverness, according to the Tarot guide. Both have a river in the background, if you can see, and that represents remaining in the flow. And then the stars in the background here and on the charioteer, on his chariot, represent celestial influences of our subconscious. Next, we've got the Strength card. And the Rider-Waite. So in the Tarot, let me bring it up again. It shows Persephone, the queen of the underworld, calming and subduing Cerberus, who is the hound of her lover Hades, so the hounds of hell. While in the Rider-Waite deck, we have a woman subduing a lion. The lion, as well as Cerberus, represents our primal instincts. So both of the women appear serene and calm, using their internal strength to subdue the creatures. In the Rider-Waite deck, the woman has an infinity symbol over her head, while Persephone wears a crown with the infinity symbol, and this symbolizes limitless potential and balance. Both of them have laurel wreaths. The Rider-Waite has one around her crown, as well as her waist, and then Persephone wears one around her arm. The wreaths symbolize victory, harmony, and balance. Both have mountains in the background, and these symbolize challenges to overcome. Next, we have the Hermit. Here's the Tarot example, and the Rider-Waite. So both of our hermits hold lanterns lighting their path, at least the beginning of their journey. The lanterns represent the conscious mind, while the staves that they both carry in their left hand represents the subconscious mind, as well as authority and power. The lantern in the Rider-Waite-Smith actually depicts a six-pointed star, which is the seal of Solomon and represents wisdom as well as balance. They both walk through the night, represented as our subconscious, guided only by their lantern. The choppy waters in the Tarot, I'm saying this backwards, y'all. In the Tarot, that's really hard. Say that like 10 times fast. And the mountains in the background of the Rider-Waite-Smith represents achievement and growth. Both of the hermits have their heads bowed and are wearing cloaks, representative of introspection and solitude. Both appear to be very steady and deliberate in their postures, symbolizing their commitment to their spiritual journey. Next, we have the Wheel of Fortune. And these go right along together with their symbolism. There's so much symbolism in this card, it's ridiculous. So first, the actual wheel. This symbolizes cycles, fate, luck, and fortune. So around the wheel on the Rider-Waite-Smith, there are the Hebrew letters YHVH, which is the unpronounceable name of God. Also around the wheel, in between those Hebrew letters, are the letters TARO, which could stand for tarot, because actually when you come back around, it completely spells the word tarot. Or it could be interpreted as the opposite, Torah, which could stand for the Torah, which are the first 5 books of the Hebrew Bible. To make it a little bit more confusing, it could also stand for Rota, which is the Latin word for wheel. This is not depicted in the Tarot, but in both cards, around the spokes of the wheel, are the alchemical symbols for water, salt, mercury, and sulfur, which are representative of the 4 elements: water, earth, air, and fire. Above both of the wheels sits a sphinx, which symbolizes knowledge and strength. On the left sides of both wheels, we see the Greek serpent Typhon. He is shown descending towards the material world, and on the right we have Anubis, the Egyptian god of the underworld, and he is rising towards the spiritual plane. So Typhon represents bad luck or hurdles to overcome, while Anubis represents good fortune and success. In the 4 corners of both cards, they're very small in the Tarot, and then here in the Rider-Waite-Smith, are the 4 fixed signs of the zodiac: Aquarius, Taurus, Leo, and Scorpio. Next, we move on to the Justice card. I freaking love this. The owl gets me. And here's the Rider-Waite-Smith. So the Tarot's Justice card is represented by the Grim Reaper. And as described in their guidebook, he is the final dispatcher of mortal justice to all who roam the earth, which I think is completely on point. So both sit between pillars, much like the High Priestess and the Hierophant, and the pillars represent balance, law, and structure. The purple veil behind both, you can see a tattered one here and one here, represent compassion. The Grim Reaper holds a scythe, while the Rider-Waite-Smith Justice card holds a sword, both of them pointed upright, symbolizing the logical mind needed to carry out fair justice. The Grim Reaper holds an hourglass, while the Rider-Waite-Smith holds balanced scales, both representing impartiality. In the Tarot, the owl has a white square patch right there, and the man sitting on the throne in the Rider-Waite-Smith has a square on his crown, and this represents well-ordered thoughts. Both cards show 1 foot peeking out from under their robes, as you can see here and here, and that signifies the consequences of our actions. Sorry, we're like trying to get you in the center here. Okay. So next we have the Hanged Man. Rider-Waite. So in the Tarot, the marionette or puppet is what they've chosen as their hanged man. So both hanged men are in the same position with their left leg at an angle behind the right leg that is bound and their arms behind their back, creating a right angle. Both of them have a serene look on their face as if they're in this position by choice. Both men have glowing yellow halos around their heads, which indicates enlightenment or a new insight. Their blue shirts represent knowledge, while the red pants represent passion. Sorry, I keep getting my cards in a crazy pile. Okay, so we move on to the Death card. Here is the Tarot Death card and our Rider-Waite-Smith. So I think that the Tarot got it right again. Their Death card is represented by the characters from The Legend of Sleepy Hollow. So neither of the riders have an actual physical body, which symbolizes death's invincibility and inevitability. Both of the riders are wearing dark clothing, which symbolizes mourning. And both cards have the riders riding on white horses, which stands for purity, as death purifies everyone. On the Tarot card, the horse has a black saddle blanket with the white flower, and the rider in the Rider-Waite holds it as a flag. And this symbolizes change and transformation as well as immortality. Both cards show humans begging for mercy. In this one, Nebuchadnezzar, but death still comes for everyone. In the back of both cards, there are boats floating down a river, which symbolizes the dead being escorted to their afterlife. Also in the background, we see the moon rising in the Tarot and the sun rising in the Rider-Waite-Smith, symbolizing the cycles of death and rebirth. Next, we have the Temperance card. In both of the cards, there's an androgynous angel depicted pouring water from one goblet to another. The masculine and feminine characteristics of the angel represents duality and balance. In the Tarot, the angel is a statue, but the water flows through it, while the Rider-Waite has one foot on the ground while the other is in the water. This represents the need to stay grounded, but still being in the flow. This, as well as the water flow from the two goblets, also represent the conscious and subconscious. Both cards show a path from the water. In the Rider-Waite-Smith, it shows the path leading to mountains with a crown positioned above, while in the Tarot, the path leads to a mausoleum, and above that is a crown. This symbolizes the journey through life towards reaching a higher power, but still staying true to one's purpose. All right, now, I thought I was moving to a different page. All right, so now we got the Devil. Here is that one, and Rider-Waite. All right, so in both cards, the Devil is depicted as Baphomet, the half man, half goat, and this represents balance between male and female, good and evil, positive and negative, human and animal. Both have the wings of a bat, who suck the lifeblood from its prey, which symbolizes the effects of succumbing to our raw desires. Both have an inverted pentagram on their foreheads, which represents the dark side of magic and occultism. And it also represents throwing everything out of balance because the pentagram is upside down. Both display hypnotizing stares, bringing their prey under their control. They both also have their right hand to the heavens and hold a torch to the ground, lighting the male's tail on fire. And much like the the Magician's card, this symbolizes as above, so below. The female and male are both loosely chained, suggesting they have imprisoned themselves. The woman's tail in both cards is a grapevine, which is representative of pleasure, while the male's tail is a flame, representing passion. In both the cards, the humans have horns, suggesting that they're giving in to their animalistic desires. And FYI, guys, the words that I'm saying are, I researched the meanings of the symbols, and I've taken a little bit from here and a little bit from there. So this is not what's said in the guidebook. The guidebook's different, but I may have taken a little bit of excerpts from it, and usually I reference them. So just letting y'all know that if you get the guidebook, what I'm saying is not what the guidebook says. All right, so let's move on. We've got the Tower. So both cards show a solid structure. The Rider-Waite-Smith shows a building, while the Tarot shows a tree, although both are on shaky foundation. So lightning has struck both of the structures, crumbling both of them, as well as throwing the inhabitants headfirst out of the structures, forcing them to change and take new paths. So the foundations in the Rider-Waite-Smith is an icy mountain, and the Tarot is on top of skulls, representing aspirations and goals that were started with shaky foundation. So in both cards, there are 22 flames. 10 represent the 10 points of the Tree of Life, and 12 represent the 12 signs of the zodiac, representing that divine intervention is present even during chaos. Next we have this star, and I'm pretty obsessed with this card. Look how gorgeous it is. So the colors on these cards, they're vibrant yet muted, like it's a matte card, and they're just beautiful. And the star is actually associated with the astrological sign Aquarius, and I'm an Aquarius, so I guess I'm partial to this one. And here's the Rider-Waite. So in the Tarot, the star depicts a siren. Both females are naked in the cards, which shows their vulnerability in the vastness of the universe. Their left hands, representing the subconscious, pours water into 5 rivulets, you can see in both cards. And this is representative of the 5 senses, while their right hands pour water into a larger body of water, representing the conscious mind, as well as cleansing and nourishing the earth and continuing the cycle of fertility. In the Rider-Waite-Smith, the woman has 1 foot in the water, representing intuition, and 1 foot on land, representing practicality and common sense. The Tarot uses the same symbolism with their siren by having her half-human form connecting her to the land, and her mermaid tail connecting her to the water. The large star in the background of both cards represents the core essence of the woman, while the 7 smaller stars in the sky of the Rider-Waite and the 7 stars in the siren's hair represents the 7 chakras. Both cards have a bird in the background. You can see the crow and this little bird here, and that represents wisdom and higher thought. Moving on to the moon. So both cards show the moon in the sky between the 2 structures. In the Rider-Waite, it has it between 2 towers, while the Tarot has it between 2 twisted trees. The moon is representative of our intuition and unconscious, and it's dimmer than the sun, so it slightly lights the path to a higher consciousness. The Tarot has a werewolf straddling the stream of water during his transformation, while the Rider-Waite-Smith has a dog and a wolf howling at the moon on either side of the stream of water. So the werewolf during its transformation and the dog and the wolf in the Rider-Waite-Smith both represent the tamed and wild aspects of our mind, while the water represents our subconscious. Both of them have a crab coming out of the water, and this symbolizes the developing stages of our consciousness. Next we have the Sun card. So in both cards, of course, there's the depiction of the sun. In the Tarot, the sun is actually carved into the wood of a witch's altar. And obviously in the Rider-Waite, we have a huge sun in the sky, both symbolizing the fact that sun is source of all life. Both cards have 4 sunflowers, symbolizing either the 4 suits of the minor arcana or the 4 elements. In the Tarot, it represents the elements, while the 4 skulls represents the 4 suits of the minor arcana. The white horse in the Rider-Waite-Smith represents purity, while the Tarot, this is represented by the white candles in the background. The clean and unmarred poppet in the Tarot and the naked child in the Rider-Waite-Smith symbolizes purity and innocence. The child, as well as the poppet's blue eyes and cheerful smile, represent happiness and joy. Both the poppet and the child have their arms outstretched, representing vulnerability and openness. Next we have the Judgment card. So both cards depict beings appearing to be raised from the dead. In the Tarot, they're summoned by a necromancer casting a spell, while in the Rider-Waite-Smith, it's the Archangel Gabriel sounding his trumpet. All of the beings are ready to be judged and instructed on their next destination, whether that be heaven, hell, or otherwise. In the Terror Tarot, the sorceress is spellbind, and in the Rider-Waite-Smith, the mountains in the background both symbolize the inevitability of the judgment. We are on our last card. So here is the World. So in the Terror Tarot, the world is represented by the story of Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. On the card, it shows Dr. Jekyll with the elixir traveling through the circle into a new phase as Mr. Hyde. According to their guidebook, the circular shape of the potion portal right here represents the cycle of accomplishments, endings, and beginnings. While in the Rider-Waite-Smith card, it shows a dancer inside a circular laurel wreath, also symbolizing cycles and accomplishments. She's looking to the past but moves towards the future, while Dr. Jekyll hesitates in the past and then moves towards his future to become Mr. Hyde. So both of these representing cycles. Surrounding the figures in each card are the 4 signs of the fixed zodiac appearing again. These represent Aquarius, Scorpio, Taurus, and Leo. These are symbolic of the 4 elements, the 4 suits of the tarot, the 4 compass points, 4 seasons, and the 4 corners of the universe, also representing cycles, beginnings and endings, and bringing balance to the journey. So that is the end of the deck. So in closing, I think this is a pretty awesome deck. And if you like clones of Rider-Waite-Smith, I think this is right on par with that. My biggest complaint is that it's only a major arcana deck. I really wanted more, but again, I'm loving it. I'm also a little bummed about the quality of the book. The artwork is great. What they've written in the book is great. It's just the binding fell apart, so I was pretty bummed about that. But that being said, I totally recommend this tarot deck. I'm totally loving it. Also, a thing to note, if you like this deck, go show some love over at the Ghoulish Garb's Etsy store. I will link that in the description box below. Like I had said, they are creating another deck portraying different goddesses as the major arcana. I'm not positive if they're just producing a major arcana deck again or if they will have a full 78 card deck. I did message the owner and they are making these designs into a deck, so I'm super excited, and again, I'll link that below. I hope you've enjoyed this walkthrough of the Terror Tarot and contrasting it with the symbolism of the Rider-Waite-Smith deck. I've had a lot of fun researching the symbols in these cards, and tarot is so loaded with symbolism, I didn't even cover every symbol in these cards. But if you're interested in me doing that and going through each card of a 78 tarot deck, just let me know in the comments below and I might take on that challenge. I think it's a pretty cool challenge to take on. Also, I'm a new YouTuber and I would really appreciate likes and comments. If you would be so kind to hit the subscribe button, I'll continue to bring you more tarot videos as well as other witchy goodiness. I am very much into crystals, tarot, oracle cards, unboxings of witchy boxes. So those are coming soon. So thank you again for watching, and until next time, lunar blessings.